everybody. Today we are here on the attack at the U of R track, the University of Rochester. It's a beautiful morning. Birds are chirping, sun is shining. It's not too hot yet. It's mid-60s. It's going to get hot pretty quick. And as I teased at the beginning of this video, we have a lot of shoes for you today. The purpose of this is to compare the Takumi Sen 11 to the Nike Streakfly 2. Now, if you watch my video introducing the Takumi Sen, and if you watch my couple of videos on the Streakfly 2, I have a feeling you'll know where this is going. I'm going to try to remain objective here and put them through their paces respectively, and give it a fair shot. Hit some really good paces. I have 800 workout going to do. I believe I scheduled myself for 2 sets in one shoe, then 2 sets of 2 sets in the other shoe, and then closing it out with 2 sets in the first shoe. So I think I'm gonna go Streakfly, Takumi, Streakfly, and it's gonna go 800 on, 800 off, 800 on, 800 off. And the on pace I'm looking at somewhere around, I think I put it into my watch as like 645 to 650, or maybe it was 640 to 655. I can't remember, but it'll tell me. And then I'm gonna do that twice. So 800 on, 800 rest, 800 on, 800 rest. So each repetition is going to be 2 miles total. And then the next rep, 2 miles total, 2 miles total, and then 2 miles total. So it's an 8-mile workout altogether. And we're going A, B, B, A. So I'm giving you a little, very small dose sneak preview into the Hoka Rocket X3 today as well. I'm gonna have a full review on this shoe coming up very soon. If not tomorrow, then the next day. The first run I did in this was yesterday, and I have more to figure out about it. And so that's why today I'm gonna warm up and cool down in this. I know it's a super shoe. It's not really supposed to be warmed up in nor cooled down in, but I want to get as many miles on this as quickly as possible to share a good review with everybody here and not just rely on my knee-jerk reaction to this. So this is the first thing I'm gonna be lacing up. Probably get like a mile, maybe mile and a half in this shoe just until I feel warm, and then dive into the workout. So I will catch you on the other side. Running.
Trading for my races, better get up on the faces. Screaming for your thoughts on you all the way. Running.
20.
Running. Ready for my race, better get up on the bases. Screaming throughout the looks on you.
And now we're in the backyard with the Takumi Sen 11 and the Streakfly 2. It's been a long day of testing, got a really good workout in at the track, and now I wanted to break it down for you how that workout went, my experience of it, and yeah, tell you about these shoes. So first of all, I am blown away by how much better the Takumi performed today than yesterday. Don't know if it was something in the air today or yesterday, but it was the big surprise of the day. It was really, really nice. I have some thoughts about both of these shoes, how they rode, the difference between them. The very first difference that is worth noting is just how extremely light the Streakfly 2 is. It is stunningly light. It is like an airy 100, I think it was 120 grams. It is 120 grams. I weighed it before I left this morning versus the 190 that you get in the Takumi. That is a 70 gram difference. That's just truly amazing to me how different these shoes weigh. Holding it in hand, you could sort of feel it. It feels even more extreme on foot. And for the reps that I was doing in the Streakfly, especially switching from the Takumi back into the Streakfly, it was a pretty incredible transition. So that was my number one first wow factor experience that I had. Similar to yesterday when I ran in the Takumi 11 for the first time, I did have some hot spots. The difference is today, I was actually able to rectify that relatively quickly in the Takumi, and it went away. I mean, it was still a lot firmer of a ride than the Streakfly 2, but nowhere near what I was experiencing yesterday. And I'm sure a contributing factor here is that I was running on a track in this, and you could see I have the battle scars of track dust on the shoes. I kept getting little track flakes in the Streakfly. Don't know why. Not during the run, but as I was changing in and out of the shoes. Next thing I notice is these do feel very different on toe off. This feels like you're folding a plastic playing card in half and then it flings you forward, or like bending a plastic spoon. Like if you ever did a game in lunch where you get your spoon, I gotta keep my eye on these guys. They got a groundhog yesterday, so anytime I see them sprint off like this, I'm like, oh no, they're on the hunt again. But yeah, I felt so bad about that groundhog. But yeah, the Streakfly 2 is like you fold like a plastic spoon in half, you have a peanut on the other end of it, and you see how far you could get the peanut across the classroom or whatever. This is too rigid to feel like that. This is more like I had a whole list of crack, snap, and pop situational descriptions on the Takumi yesterday. I think that was amplified by the paces that I was hitting today. So the quickest that I got this yesterday was down to like 7 or just under 7. And it felt really good at that pace. But today, the workout, so I'll tell you about the workout a little bit. I sort of outlined it at the beginning of the video, but what ended up happening was I blew all of my paces out of the water in both shoes. And so I was supposed to be hitting between 640 and 655 is what I think I had set it for. But I was sub 640 on every single 800 rep. And my recovery 800s were supposed to be between 830 and 9. And I was sitting comfortably under 830, mostly actually under 8 for all of my recovery 800. So it was just a killer workout. I felt really good. And I'm still in this area where I'm discovering what an appropriate pace is for a lot of these workouts. I'm not super knowledgeable about speed work because this is only really my second year, coming up on my second year of doing running. I haven't even run 2 consecutive years in a row yet. So you know, I mean, other than way back when in high school before I stopped running for a long time, but this recent resurgence of running in my life has been under 2 years. And so not a lot of speed work. I'm discovering my own pace. I'm getting fitter by the day. I'm in the beginner gains cycle right now, which is great. I feel really great about it. And this workout was a result of that. So I was running a lot faster in both of these today. And boy, did the Takumi come alive right around the 650, 640 mark and faster, right? Every rep that I started going, I ended up at like maybe slightly faster in the Streakfly too, but I was at some really extreme, like almost 5-minute paces, and I had to, you know, ease off the gas a little bit because I don't know if I could sustain that over 800 meters right now. I think maybe I could. It's entirely possible, right? So the sensation underfoot of the Takumi is much more like a sword fight, maybe, where the sword, if you clash with another sword, I mean, this is coming from somebody that has been in very few sword fights in my life, but when it clashes, it ricochets off. It's like vibrationally, it sends shockwaves up your arm a little bit, but it's like an immediacy to the response of this. And I do think that it is still very harsh and will leave your legs feeling beat up. In fact, I don't typically get much Achilles irritation, but it is a little irritated on my right foot today. And it could have been from either of these, truthfully, because, you know, this is a sort of like a negative drop and this is a really harsh shoe. So I'm not going to blame either of these for incurring that slight Achilles damage, but I do feel soreness, and this does feel like the harsher of the two. It was still kind of a pain to get locked down, not anywhere near as bad as it was yesterday, and I think that, you know, that's why I put a big asterisk on my review yesterday of this, that I'll need to get more miles in it. I'm going to keep getting more miles in it. This is not over by a long shot. Now, the one that put the smile on my face was still the Streakfly 2. It was that much more unique, that much more stripped down, lightweight, tailored to the job that I put it to, and propulsive. It felt like I could hit faster paces at this with less effort. And I felt also similarly, right, in the Takumi. I bet you if I even brought the Metaspeed Edge Paris, which is potentially my favorite running shoe ever, we'll see, like, over time, if I come to love other running shoes. But I bet you this would still outperform in an 800 workout. The Takumi would probably outperform the Edge just because of the stack, and the Edge is really tall, and I don't know if I'd feel as confident letting it rip on some repetitions. Certainly once you get down to 400s, I would take the Takumi over the Edge. And then the Streakfly, I would take the Streakfly over both, let's be honest. Yeah, other observations. I don't think this is going to last as long, which is a sad state of affairs. I would love to have this forever. And I do think that when these start to pop up on sale, if they ever do in the distant future, if they ever make a version 3 of this, I want like several pairs of these to keep forever, because I can't imagine how could you outdo this, like, as Nike. I'm looking to Nike and saying to them, if you change this at all, it will be worse. Does that mean it's a perfect shoe? I have truly no idea. Maybe one thing that I don't totally love about it is the lugs are pretty grippy on here, right? Which is great, but they're a little deep. So if they wanted to change something, maybe they could lessen the stack of lug. Like, this is probably something like a millimeter to maybe 2 millimeters of lugs, and because of that, on the forefoot on pavement can be a little slappy feeling. I mean, not even a little, it's definitely slappy feeling when you're landing on the forefoot on pavement on this. And so maybe that's a small area for improvement, but that could be really critical to the way that the platform is constructed and why you're able to just let it unload off the forefoot. So I don't want to, you know, I'm not a shoe scientist, and this is splitting the hair of the hair of the hair. I know that some people were critical about the heel having a little bit of heel slip. That is yet to occur to me in this. Like, truly just does not happen. That was an issue sort of for a lot of the workout in the Takumi, but not all of it. I was able to get a good lockdown into honestly, into the first rep. I was able to get a good lockdown, but it was still imperfect. Another thing that I noticed about this, it's way, way wider than the last version, and that's both good and bad. The last version needed to be wider, right? The Takumi Sen 10 was a very painfully narrow shoe, and they fixed it, but they, I think, overcorrected a little bit in the 11, and so I don't know. I don't think it's actually a negative overall. Like, on balance, I'd rather this be wider. But I think that's contributing to the challenge of getting a good lockdown and a good fit on it. It even feels, I know I was on the track today, so it's hard to make a direct comparison to yesterday, but I feel like the foam is a little bit softer today, which is, it wouldn't be surprising, right? Yesterday was the first run, this is the second run. I also put a lot of work into it today, like a lot of high intensity, a lot of power into this today, right? Especially in the forefoot. And that's where I feel like it softened up. It's really hard to describe how this is tuned for, like, when it comes alive in a way that this is always alive. This is always alive and awake and flinging you forward like a catapult. And this is like a firm board. You know, maybe what it is, okay, so say you're a person and you want to bend a 2x4 to do the flinging spoon experiment, where you're flinging the peanuts with a plastic spoon. This is always accommodating. This is always a plastic spoon that you could fling peanuts off of, like when there's a lot of flex to it, right? This bendy shoe. And so it's always at pretty much any pace that you're going to put into it, going to fling you forward. It's just mechanically driven in that way. This is so rigid that you need just so much more force and pressure to actuate the flinging mechanism. And I feel like you need to be like if you were a giant playing this game with a 2x4, that's sort of what the shoe feels like underfoot. It's like a giant put an apple on a 2x4 in the cafeteria of giants, and with his giant buddies was pressing down on the 2x4 because he's a giant, he's really strong, he can do that, and pushing it down, and then the apple flings miles away. So like, if you have a lot of power to your stride, I think the Takumi is actually going to be even better for you than it is for me. I do still think that you're going to get the same level of benefit out of the Streakfly. So it's a matter for evaluation. I really do also like the lacing system on the Streakfly. It cinches down. These are stretchy laces, so I don't know how they did it, but when you tighten it, it tightens every single eyelet chain at the same time with the same amount of pressure because of the stretchiness of the laces, which, you know, can be a downside to some shoes. It can actually, like, hurt the shoe's ability to tailor a fit, but for whatever reason, that uniform pressure just works with this upper for me. I'm sure that maybe not everybody is going to have that experience. This is so much lighter than the Takumi. I mean, these are in different, this is actually really good on the second run. Like, my first run review was terrible. My first run was terrible in this. It was really bad, and it hurt my foot, and my feet actually waking up this morning still hurt. So it was amazing when I got out to do the workout that I did not have the same experience at all with this today. And I'm so grateful because, you know, it's an expensive shoe. I want to get some usage out of it, and now I feel a lot more confident that I will be able to do so. But it's not, I mean, this has serious, the Streakfly 2 has some serious shoe of the year characteristics, and who's about to give shoe of the year to a road ready track spike like a track spike without the spikes. Who's about to do that? I mean, that would be an insane thing to say, that this is the shoe of the year. But there is not a shoe that I've run in this year that is as flawless, as perfect, and as exciting, has the characteristic of a kid on Christmas. Like, if I unwrap this under the tree, I'd be so happy. I would be bouncing up and down, and it would enable me to do so. It would fling me up and down, in fact. And the same does not, I mean, after today, I'd be pretty happy to receive this as a gift. It's a lovely gift. It's going to outlast the Streakfly 2. Okay, so let's try to do this in a logical manner. Where do they beat each other? The components of a shoe are the upper, the fit, the midsole, and the grip, right? And there's probably other stuff, but I'm really disorganized, so we'll get there. Upper to upper, the Streakfly absolutely slaughters the Takumi. That's still the challenging part here, is getting a good lockdown. The lacing system is bad. The laces are probably one of the worst laces ever made for any shoe. Like, I could probably get laces off of a dress shoe. And I have an extension cord that's sitting down there. Maybe replace this with an extension cord, or like a belt from the closet. Would probably improve these laces. Like, literally, like, stapling staples into my foot with a staple gun might be better than trying to tie this. No, that's extreme. But that's what I feel about the differences in the uppers between these two shoes. Okay, so then fit is sort of wrapped up into the issue with the uppers, but the fit is different, right? So if you have a wide foot, Streakfly is a no-fly zone. Although somebody did comment, right, that they have a wide foot and were able to get a good fit in the Streakfly 2, which is pretty wild. Like, I can't imagine doing that, but also knowing how it feels on my foot, and despite it being really very narrow, it still somewhat works, because you do have a very wide landing platform, right? But I think for the average individual, the Takumi is going to be more accommodating for wide-footed people, right? Not everybody is going to be able to use this shoe. So that's one way that the fit could be superior in the Takumi. It is, midsole. I think this will age really well, and it did a lot better today than it did yesterday. And it got me to very nearly the same level of, performance as the Streakfly. My Streakfly reps my on reps were definitely faster in the Streakfly 2 than the Takumi. But over time, I think that this is going to age really well. I think this is going to break down a lot. So midsole, this is freaking incredible right now. But we'll see even once it hits 100 miles. But this is going to go to like 300, 400 miles if you want to put it there. Guaranteed. Outsole, this is where the Adidas comes back for a vengeance. This light traction stuff is indestructible. It is like, you could run it through a wood chipper and it would be fine. You could literally take a knife to it and cut it into little tiny pieces on the midsole. And it would stay there. It would just stay glued there with cuts in it, and it would be fine. That's how good the light traction stuff is. I don't know about the Continental. It's really tacky when you touch it, but it's not. I like the direction Adidas is going with the light traction. I mean, the Nike outsole too, where there's this big landing patch, is really, I think it's going to last a long time. The lugs are very, very big, right? So it'll wear down over time, but though this will also last a while, it's more like you have all of this exposed foam in here. That's going to die. So durability, outsole, Adidas takes the win. But how it makes me feel, what do I want to run in? Man, I would do daily mileage in the Streakfly 2 just to put a smile on my face if I'm ever having a bad day. And you will probably see me do that in the future. And probably not for the Takumi. Maybe once it's like 100 miles in, really broken down, and The foam is feeling a lot softer, maybe, right? But that's it. That's what I got for you. I appreciate your attention, and I know I teased the Hoka Rocket X3 in the intro to this, so you know what to look for next. And I'll be playing with these toys for quite some time. So have a great 4th of July. If you're seeing this on the 5th, you probably had a really great 4th of July, and I'll see you all soon.